Ladies and gentlemen, it's with more pleasure than I can even possibly explain that I ask you to join me in honoring and thanking and welcoming to this podium the next president of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, John Raines.
He's a rookie at that. Well, you know, Jeff, where'd you run off to? It's been a great ride. I love the camaraderie that you and I have developed over these past 18 months or so.
Great.
It's astounding, and on behalf of the entire club, I really want to give you a heartwarm thanks for your service, for your heart, for your skill, wisdom, everything that you've done for us this year. You've left impossible shoes to fill and no videos left to play. But most importantly, so we'll start with one today, of course. But most importantly, thank you for your friendship, and we all look forward to working with you for many years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you don't mind, I've always wanted to do this. Okay, got that out of my system. We were having a conversation at the table. Can we finish that up?
Let's finish.
Okay.
Shall the crowd be seated, or you want to stay standing?
Doesn't matter. I'm going to sit.
So we were talking about the 20-year build-up to being president of the club and all that it entails. And a lot of people in the club may not know. So tell us a little bit about that 20-month journey.
Well, of course, you went through that, and we overlapped some. And it's an astounding journey to prepare for president. And I want to thank the club. It is an extreme honor to be trained so effectively to be prepared for this position. It is a growth time. I'm sure you went through that. But it starts out with district events and district conferences, district assemblies, and goes into pets. And for us, since we're a large club, we also got to overlap on a large club conference in San Antonio, you and I.
Yep.
And I got to go to Milwaukee with Mike Homan. So it gives the presidents real continuity, and we get to develop some great relationships. Like, what are some of your favorite relationships that you have developed?
Well, a lot of rank and file Rotarians, just for whatever reason, don't have an opportunity to get to know people involved in the district. Mm-hmm. And our new governor, Don Dindas, great fella.
Yeah, he's a
not your normal nerdy Rotarian district governor.
No.
Yeah.
He
so you'll enjoy hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other people from around the world that you get to meet, especially at the International Convention, which I understand you really enjoyed in Seoul.
I did. And of course, you got to do an international convention, so probably some of our experiences are the same. International convention is just a wonderful experience. I know it's cool when it's somewhere international, but still, you could be in San Antonio, and it would be very entertaining and enlightening. It's meeting all the different people, and what's really cool, they're all different, but they're all, in a way, the same. And it's the same smile, it's the same spirit of service, some of the same stories. And it is just really, truly, Lars and Kenneth, I'll never forget, the two guys from Sweden that seemed to be everywhere we were. And I got invited to the Ice Hotel, so I thought that's pretty cool.
You have that scheduled yet?
No, not yet. I got to see Lars and Kenneth at the next conference to get their phone number. But,
good.
Yeah.
And so Mike Homan gets the pleasure of the club funding his trip to the International Convention in Atlanta.
That's right. But Atlanta, to be honest with you, is going to be a hoot. The new incoming president is from that area. So it's going to be a really good convention and a unique opportunity. I'll talk about that later for the club.
But bottom line is we really want a big group from this club to go, right?
Absolutely.
Share the experience.
You know, I don't know why we couldn't get several. What's bigger than that? Many? A bunch?
All y'all?
All y'all?
Yeah. All y'all?
That's very appropriate.
Yeah.
To go to Atlanta, it is really a unique opportunity being so close. It's actually drivable. The district is even getting some motion going about a couple of buses. So it should be a really good convention for access, and what you will see there would be the same thing you would see in an international setting. So it should be a great opportunity to see Rotary International Conference.
Yeah, for me, it was very uplifting and affirming that Rotary International is alive and well, that the principles of Rotary are strong as they've ever been, and that there are literally hundreds of thousands of people who share many of our values from countries that you can't even name and go through some of the same struggles that we do. And hearing that from people all over the world is really a big uplifting thing.
It is, and one of the funniest district governor stories I heard is the guy said he had to buy a new vehicle to become district governor. I said, why? He said, well, I'm from Africa and I have 60 clubs, and one of them takes me 3 days to get to, and I have to ford 2 rivers. So I had to buy this truck with the exhaust out the top. And he slept in the truck on the way to the club meeting and then turned around and came back. So it's really interesting to hear those stories, meet those people, and it's such a common denominator. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for allowing me to go. It is absolutely a game changer.
So this year at the convention, it's the 100th anniversary of the foundation. So what do they have planned new for the Atlanta convention for that?
There's a lot of celebration for the 100th anniversary and of the foundation. So the foundation was started 100 years ago with $28.50. And it has grown to $380 million.
That's amazing.
The other thing you get when you go to the Rotary International Convention is you see the Rotary Club of Tulsa mirrored at that convention. A lot of the work that we do, a lot of the foundation work that we do, a lot of the work we do in our community and abroad, even our electoral process and how we transition leadership, it's amazing how similar it is. So there's a connection there. You almost feel at home.
Well, hopefully we'll see a lot of our fellow Rotarians from this club in Atlanta.
Absolutely. We'll have a party booth at the Atlanta Braves' new stadium.
The Rotary Club of Tulsa will?
Why not?
All right, I'm counting on that.
Okay.
Baseball, I'm in.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, if those doing our invocation, pledge, and visitor introductions will make their way forward. Today our invocations will be led by Bryant Bynum, pledge by Chris Pankratz, and visitor introductions by Ms. Karen Keith. Bryant?
As I make a round trip to get my glasses.
If you would stand for the invocation, please.
This being the first meeting after the 4th of July and also the meeting where we induct a new president, I was asked to provide an invocation that has been attributed to George Washington at his initial inauguration April 30th of 1789. Almighty God, we make our earnest prayer that thou wilt keep the United States in thy holy protection, that thou will incline the hearts of the citizens to cultivate a spirit of subordination and obedience to government, and entertain a brotherly affection and love for one another and for their fellow citizens of the United States of America at large. And finally, that thou wilt most graciously be blessed to dispose us to do justice, to love mercy, and to deem ourselves with that charity, humility, and pacific temper of mind, which were the characteristics of the divine author of our blessed religion, and whose without example these things we can never hope to be a happy nation. Grant our supplication, we beseech. Amen.
All right, join me in the pledge. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. John Rothrock, he's back 3 in a row. Woo, that's awesome. Becky, so happy to see you. Yay. All right, we've got some visiting Rotarians. Jack Maxwell from Bixby. Yay, Jack, here we go. Mickey Moore, our driller from Bristow. Where's Mickey? And the one and only Ben Gorell from Southside. And our other visitors, Bill Clark. He's the crew chief for RAM, and he is the guest of Bob McKenzie. Welcome, Bill. And Bob, welcome back. I'm glad you're in one piece. Thank you all for being here. It's going to be a great day. Congratulations.
Thank you, Karen. I'd like to take this time to introduce some of my family and friends that are here with me today. So if you can stand in place as I call your name, I'll give a brief introduction. My father, Johnny Raines, is here today. My sons, Justin, Benjamin, and his fiance, let that cat out of the bag, didn't I? And his girlfriend, Yana, and You want to do it here now? Okay. So that would be Justin, Benjamin, and JT, and Ben's girlfriend, Yana. Thank you. My daughters, Jordan, and my son-in-law, Richard, and Jessica, and her son-in-law, or my son-in-law, Roland. Thank you, family, for coming. I've never seen them all together, all this clean. I took a position at IMAX Corp in Broken Arrow, and I've been there about 1.5 years, and it's been a pleasure. And I have 3 coworkers that came with me today. If they'll please stand. Stephanie Edwards, Teresa Fairclough, and Eric Heim. And I have a set of close friends and an accountability group, and it's interesting that one of them I'm not going to name is sitting at the table with them. But I'd like for them to stand and be recognized. Patrick Graham, Brent McKee, Don Turner, Steve Ham, wherever he got off to, Luis Perdinas. These are the guys that have my back and know my secrets. While you're standing, Ed Monette, if you could stand, please. Take a look at this guy. Remember his name, Ed Monette. If he calls you, don't take it. And last but not least, the First Lady, the love of my life, and the one that allows me to stand up here for sure, is Kathy Raines. I'd also like to acknowledge the band, Steve Ham and John Della Vedova. We'll see a little more of them later. So I'd like to splash up our upcoming programs. And while we're doing that, if David Wagner and Lynette Potter could stand, they are the co-chairs of our programs committee and are doing a fabulous job. And if I'm not mistaken, the fall is booked. So thank you very much. So on July the 13th, we have Gerard Clancy, a real friend of Tulsa and has a heart for Rotary as well. He's going to talk to us about the long-term plan for improving Tulsa's mental health. On July the 20th, we have Marcia McLeod and Greg Arend, Diversity and Inclusion in Business. And on July the 27th, Mark Graham. He's with the Tulsa United Way, but he's going to talk to us about the impact and needs on bringing nonprofits together. Our sponsor today is Inverness Village and Mark Gray, and we appreciate your support. Let's give them a hand. Cards are on your table for Ron Butler. Ron is in the hospital, and I know that he would appreciate hearing from all of us. Speedy recovery to Ron. It's my understanding it's not serious, I hope, so we look forward to him getting out soon. Project announcements. If Matthew can make his way up, I want to introduce you to a new concept for this year that we're going to do with Rotary. Up here, Matt. It's called Rotary on the Road. So we'll be traveling to local businesses a few times this year, and the purpose of that is to engage in our local community by going to them, to hear about businesses directly from those business owners in their place of business, and to offer a diverse experience for Rotarians like you and I, or guests or prospectives, a different way to connect to Rotary and to meet. And now to promote our first ROAR, Rotary on the Road, is Matthew Bristow.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we have some slides to look at to go through this. So the date for your calendars, it's next Wednesday between 4:30 and 6 p.m. So 4:30 will be cocktails, beer, wine, have a drink, and then probably around 5 we'll hear from the CEO and COO. It is the top 2 floors of the Petroleum Club building downtown at 601 South Boulder. There's no cost to attend the event, but we do need an RSVP if you're looking to come. So next slide. A little on consumer affairs. So in the world of the internet, where consumers now go to search for online reviews for any major purchases they make, Consumer Affairs is a platform for giving advice through user reviews, consumer news, and expert resources. The company was started probably 15 years ago, but the revolution started probably, I would guess, 4 or 5 years ago when a good friend of mine, Zach Carman, bought the business and thought that it could become much more than a consumer news machine. And they now have millions of visitors every month. They deliver 80,000 plus leads to large consumer brands, and they've created this platform where if you're a Procter & Gamble, you now can use Consumer Affairs platform to be able to engage directly with the consumers who are posting reviews on an independent site. If all this seems kind of in the clouds, wacky internet stuff, the company is growing faster than any other Tulsa company that I know of. They've signed a lease for the 3rd floor of the Petroleum Club building. They have rights to buy that building, and I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now they've got the whole building. I'm guessing they are close to 100 employees by now. They are part of the Oklahoma Jobs, what's it called? Oklahoma Jobs program, where you get incentives. But these are high quality, high paying jobs that are hugely attractive to young people. We're getting people from outside of Tulsa coming in to join this company, and it is a great resource for young Tulsans joining the company. The fun thing is it's a very different business for Tulsa, and I don't have any pictures of the, can we get the next slide? I don't have any pictures of the office space, but it is open concept, totally transformed, and I think it would just be a great time for Rotarians to come out of our comfort zone and see what a modern young business looks like that is hugely profitable, very fast growing, and is one of those beacons that we don't often see in Tulsa. The program for the event is to have the CEO, Zach Carman, and the COO, Eric Jenkins, talk about how the company started in Tulsa, the challenges with Tulsa not being a Silicon Valley job market, that about creating awareness for this kind of environment for people to join, and their dynamic plans for the future. I think it's a great way for us to kick off this outreach of Rotarians being in the community. 2 great guys who are leading this company, and I think it's a really exciting, fun way for us to get out. Next Wednesday at 4:30. I'm going to be sat outside taking RSVPs. You do need to register, because I need to tell them how many people are coming for drinks and for some hors d'oeuvres or whatever else they're putting together. So please do RSVP by seeing me outside, calling the Rotary office, or DACDB, go to the calendar, click on club events, and you can register there online. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next Wednesday at 6:30, let's really honor them opening up their business to us. These are busy, busy gentlemen, and they're excited about sharing what they have with Rotary. Now, if I could have Sarge come up. She's going to make the graceful long walk all the way across the stage. Catherine was born in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and spent her childhood in the Sapulpa and Grove areas, and she currently resides in Midtown Tulsa. She is married to John for the past 19 years. John, not me, right? John, okay. And they have 3 children, Matthew, Megan, and Caroline. They also share 5 grandchildren from ages 4 to 14, my. She is a graduate of the University of Tulsa in International Business and Languages and also attained her MBA there. Catherine is currently the Director of Development for the Oklahoma Innovation Institute with past experience in the executive world and as an entrepreneur. Help me welcome your new Sergeant of Arms, Catherine DeCamp.
Shall we sit?
Let's try it.
Well, first of all, John, thank you so much for asking me to be your Sarge. I mean, when he first asked me, for those of you who know me, I was like, really? You know, so,
Is that a good really or a bad really?
well, it was kind of like, really? But for those of you who don't know me, you're going to have about 48 opportunities to decide if you want to get to know me better or avoid me, okay? This is your opportunity. So, but I am really excited about this role, and I have a few things to tell you about my role this year. First and foremost, the role of the Sarge is to raise money for the Club Foundation. And our Club Foundation currently has a little over $3 million, and that money is used for so many wonderful things. The way that I try to get you to donate money is with fines. And we call them fines, but really they're just a generous donation from you for things like birthdays, anniversaries, a birth of a child, a marriage of a child.
Getting caught in the paper.
Throwing that out there, getting caught in the paper.
And marriages.
Exactly. And so those are great opportunities for you to send me an email, give me a call, and say, hey, Catherine, you know, I have a fine for you. And then I'll do a great little slide, and it'll be so much fun, and we'll all be raising money for a good cause. So this year, what I'm going to do is every week or so, we don't always have time, but I'm going to try to give you some little tidbits about things that your donations are doing for the foundation, because I think sometimes we forget just all the amazing things we're doing in Tulsa and the surrounding area with our Club Foundation money. So that's number one. So number two, John, you know, this is the 100th year
Yeah.
of Rotary International.
Yeah, so we added a component for Sarge this year, and I'm going to kind of explain that a little bit. But I felt it was important this year in the 100th year that we also talk about the other foundation, and that's the Rotary International Foundation. I know as a young Rotarian, I didn't know there were 2 foundations. I just thought they did fines and raised money, and I didn't really know where that money went, to tell you the truth.
too.
So I finally figured out it went to a community fund when I joined Community Grants Committee and understood how that all worked. And it took me another 4 or 5 years to figure out that there was a Rotary International Foundation. I knew about polio and Polio Plus, and that's slightly different messaging. But there is a Rotary International Fund. So as I experienced the convention and realized what a remarkable thing that it does, I wanted to make sure we talked about both of those foundations this year.
Right.
So to give Sarge here an excuse to talk about both, we're going to resurrect one of the old but true conniving ways to get money out of you. And that's called a 50-50 card draw.
But
Anybody know what
that
that
name's
is?
a little open, though. We're going to have to talk about that a little later, about what are we going to call this exactly.
Well.
But here we go.
But basically, just to make sure that we don't have any sleight of hand, we have extra large cards here. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell no, not that one.
Well, this is just an example.
Yeah, but this is what we'll draw in honor of Ed. But what we'll do is each week, Barney James has agreed to have a table out front. He'll sell tickets. They're $1 a piece or 10 for $10. And you'll get a matching raffle ticket. And at the end of the Rotary meeting, we'll draw a ticket, and that gives you the right to come up and draw a card. If you happen to draw the Joker out of the deck, you'll get a 50-50 split with the pot, whatever that pot may be. We're going to seed the pot with $200 to start. So next week, the pot will be $200 plus any tickets that are sold. And if you've ever been around one of these, you'll understand that it gets pretty competitive and pretty fun as the pot gets bigger and bigger. and people buy more and more tickets, and it gets to be a hoot. Now, the cool part of this, we are raising money for Rotary International. So if you win the pot, and there's $1,000 in it, those Rotary International points on the 50-50 go to you. So if you win, you could be an immediate Paul Harris Fellow, for instance. If you bring a guest and they pull their winning ticket, you get the Paul Harris Fellow instead of the guest.
Or how about we make them join, and then they get to be a Paul Harris
We could do that
upon
too.
joining.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they're already there, right?
That's right.
So it's a neat way to talk about the foundation. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie, and we'll keep the cheating to a minimum.
So let me talk about the goals, because you know every SARG usually has a fundraising goal. Well, this year, John and I talked about it, and we want to do something a little different. So instead of having like X dollars as the amount I want to raise, we're going to say that from now until the end of this year, my goal will be to have at least 100, because we like that whole centennial 100 thing. That's always fun. But at least 100 Rotarians donate $100 or more. You can donate less, that's okay, we'll take it all. But if you want to donate more, that's fine too. And then at the end of the year, we'll give you an update on where we are and maybe make a new goal for the end of our term through the end of next June. So that's going to be the goal for the Club Foundation. Rotary International, we're just going to play this game, raise as much money as we can, and then John will have some more information on Rotary International later.
Yeah, again, the game is mainly to allow you to talk about both foundations. We'll have little snippets from what each foundation does. And it's in celebration of a 100th anniversary, and the 100 for 100 is kind of the theme. You're going to hear that a few times more before the end of the year. So she's looking for 100 Rotarians for $100 by December for community fund, and the next half, another 100 for 100, and hopefully she'll meet her goal.
That's right. So we'll have some slides starting next week. I hope that you'll call me with your birthdays and anniversaries, and I might send you an email just to let you know that I found out something. And so.
Okay, do you have any challenges for me?
Well, for you, after Benjamin's little ordeal, I'm a little worried. My challenge just might be just to hang on tight and just see where this goes. But really, I really want for everybody to see the John that I know. And I think that some people, somebody said the word whip cracker to me, and I was like, ugh, so I want everybody to know you the way I know you, and you're going to love your new president.
Well, thank you. And, of course, my goal is a little simpler than that, and it's to see how many of those types of faces I can get you to make over the course of the year. So we'll be barbing each other a little bit, and I expect a lot of expression out of you on that.
And you'll probably get it.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Kathy Gorell. Kathy joined Rotary in 2008 and immediately became involved in the Camp Enterprise program. She is a Level 3 Paul Harris Fellow and a Club Fellow, and has chaired the Visitor and Club Foundation committees. She has followed a legacy of family Rotarians. Her maternal grandfather was a founder of a Rotary Club in Mattoon, Illinois. Her father, Ed Bentley, many of us know, spent 61 years right here in the Rotary Club of Tulsa. And her husband, Ben, has been at the Southside Rotary for 35 years and is a past president. Quite a heritage. Kathy is a broker associate with Coldwell Banker Select and has been in the real estate business for 35 years. She's a volunteer at Kirk of the Hills in many capacities, served on the board of Inverness Village as chairman from 2005 and 2008. So please help me welcome our newest chairman of the board, Rotarian of the Day, Kathy Gorell.
Okay, we'll get the mic down here where I can reach it. First of all, I want to thank John and all of you for this great opportunity to serve the great Rotary Club of Tulsa. Well, it's a brand new year. It's a new board with fresh ideas and a rollout of our new strategic plan, which you'll be hearing more about. So with the focus on Rotarians serving community, allow me to introduce the 2016-17 Board of Directors. And let's hold our applause until all have been introduced. So bringing John Raines right back to the stage, our president for 2016-17. I think it's already been mentioned that he is with IMAX Corporation. And a little remembrance back when he was a Red Badge member, at his first board meeting, he pitched the idea for Shop with the Cop, and it became a reality in 2 months. A little tidbit, 2 days before the international convention, John fell and he cracked his kneecap. So his dear wife, Kathy, and Donna had to push him around in a wheelchair through the airports. Mike Holman is our president-elect for 2017-18. Unfortunately, Mike is not with us. He, poor thing, is vacationing in Jackson Hole, and so we will be thinking of him. But Mike is an engineer with Terracon Consultants. The most important thing he has done in Rotary is to say yes when asked to serve. Way back on his 50th birthday, he ran back-to-back marathons, one in Tulsa, the next day in Fort Worth. He says he does not plan on doing that again. Jeff Hassel, immediate past president. Jeff is an attorney with Gable Gottwalls. His most important memory of what he has done for Rotary is implementing the strategic plan last year. And as far as a funny thing about Jeff, he said, everybody knows everything now. Casey King, our secretary-treasurer. Casey is in corporate sales with Doubletree Hilton downtown. He is most proud of sharing the Above and Beyond Awards. And a little secret about Casey, he's a big fan of punk rock music. Catherine DeCamp, our Sergeant at Arms, Director of Development for the Oklahoma Innovation Institute. And she said the most important thing in Rotary for her is yet to come. Her year as Sergeant of Arms and surviving with her integrity intact. She wants you to know that she was actually married in Gibraltar. Paul Boffman is our club service director. Paul is a commercial banker with Bank First. He's most proud of becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. Last year, he took his 8-year-old son to Game 1 of the World Series to cheer on his favorite team, the Kansas City Royals. Hannibal Johnson, Community Service Director. Hannibal is author, attorney, consultant, and a college professor. Ask him what he does in his free time. Last year, Hannibal's most proud of chairing the board and leading the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Just a little tidbit about him, he has been swimming, or rather floating, in the Dead Sea. Lynette Potter, International Service Director. Lynette is a consultant with Shifting Results. She's most proud of directing Camp Enterprise. And back in 1978, she was the youngest licensed realtor in Texas. So you can ask her how old she was back then. Charles Sechrist is our Vocational Service Director. Chuck works for Key Personnel. He said the most important thing in Rotary...
Chaz, Charles, we'll go with anything. That's okay.
Oh, they don't recognize you as Charles. Okay, Chaz. The most important thing to Chaz is getting involved in general in Rotary. A little tidbit, way back in 1982, Chaz provided one of the first letters featured on Late Night with David Letterman's viewer mail segment. You can ask him what it said. Becky Fields is our Youth Service Director. Becky is a lender with Mabry Bank, private banking group. She's most proud of serving as a chaperone to Ryla and Camp Enterprise. Well, Becky's part of a big family. She has 4 siblings. She grew up on a farm full of animals. At her parents' house, there is a baby kangaroo, and the baby kangaroo goes everywhere with her mother, including Walmart. Now, there's also a zebra and 2 camels. I don't think they go to Walmart. Chuck Wilson, Membership Director. Chuck is a mortgage banker with Associated Mortgage Corp. Way back in the beginning of his tenure in Rotary, he went with Reverend Leroy Jordan, who was a former Rotarian and minister of First Baptist Church of North Tulsa, to the Center for the Physically Limited. Some of you remember that. And interviewed the wheelchair team to determine if we would recommend that Rotary purchase an additional wheelchair. Well, Rotary did just that, and it changed Chuck's course in Rotary. Now, way back as a sophomore at Tulsa Central High School, he was the lead in the play, The Boy That Changed the World. And I think that set him on his course for sure. Tony Oliva, Director at Large. Unfortunately, Tony is in Seattle and will not be here today. But Tony is a partner at Storage Plus by 5R Inc., which provides document storage and destruction services. He said the most important thing about Rotary is just being active. So a little tidbit about Tony. While on a trip to Istanbul, Turkey, Tony and his wife did a club visit, and lo and behold, their sister club from Sicily was there, and he said, let me just say, they know how to party. So you can ask him about that. So Brian Bovard, Director at Large. Brian does consulting for Camp Lockridge and has revamped their outdoor classroom program, which serves primarily fifth graders in underserved Tulsa area schools. The most important thing that he's done at Rotary is reviving Camp Enterprise in 2013 after a one-year hiatus. But Brian said he could not have done it without the help of John Raines, so that was great. An unusual piece of trivia, Brian had a bucket list long before the movie hit, and his bucket lists are overflowing. Wouldn't you agree? So, Dana Burks, Director at Large. She's VP of Marketing with Clifford Power Systems. She's most proud of chairing IBA just 2 weeks ago with her husband. What a wonderful event it was. And a long time ago, she wrote a Jam magazine and interviewed a lot of musicians, including B.B. King, Chicago Devo, and Merle Haggard. What fun. Tom Klenda, Long Range Planning. Tom is franchise, business, and estate planning attorney with Newton O'Connor and Ketchum. He said the most important time in Rotary occurred at this same time in 2013 when Karen Keith became president, the 100th president, and he became the 99th. Carol and Tom had the experience attending the International Rotary Conference in Bangkok, Thailand, and they were able to climb the Great Wall of China before his year as president. Great adventure. Linda Bradshaw, Long Range Planning Liaison. Linda's owner of Tulsa World of Gymnastics. She's most proud of chairing the 2004 IBA, in allowing Jimmy Sade to direct the Stars and Stripes, which was his last performance as John Philip Sousa. Many of you remember that. She's 40 years in the gymnastics business, and she said, I'm amazed when people ask if I can still do a cartwheel. No, I cannot. Let's give a round of applause to all of these new board members. Okay, the service directors will now recognize their board chairs who will remain at their tables.
Classification, Steve Perkins. Diversity and Inclusion, Phil Armstrong. Corporate Membership, Bill Richard. Young Professionals, Andy Avila and Bryant Bynum. Yearlings, Jan Laub. Past member, are you standing? You're supposed to stand. Stand and remain standing till all are introduced. Thank you, Jan. Past members, Philip Viles. Community leaders, Sandra Mullins. Small business, Tim Knoll and Mary Staton. Membership retention, Michael Hairston. And then Michael Willis for visitors, Will Smith and Kip Lycum for our mentorship, a new committee this year. Please recognize these chairs. Thank you.
For Youth Services, this year's Camp Enterprise Director is Tom Wolf. Crescendo Music Awards, Phil Armstrong. Interact, Brian Bovard. Mike Chittum Partisan Education, Stephanie Cameron. Rotaract Liaison, Jeffrey Rudd and Jake Dollarhide are co-chairing. And Shop with a Cop, Charles Seacrest and Chris McCown.
All right, we have Fireside, Linda Bradshaw. Have Business Visitation Day, David Momper. Rotary Cares, Terry Heritage and Jerry Meritori. And Social, Alicia Herrera and David Downing. David's on vacation, so.
International Projects, David Peterson and Ben Wyndham. Rotary Youth Exchange Scholarship, John Howland. Rotary Foundation Development, Scott Fulstrup and Lindsay Sparks. And Rotary Foundation Global and District Grants, which is new, Jack McClumphley and Paula Woods.
Above and Beyond Awards, Rob Berry and Michelle Koski. Club Foundation Development, Tom Klinda and Dale Dreyer. Club Foundation Grants, John Della Vedova, Andrew Coffey, and Mark Short. Henry P. Iba Citizen Athlete Awards, Casey King and Jean Martin. Rotary Plaza Maintenance, Tim Colwell, and Salvation Army Bell Ringers, Michelle Place. Thank you.
For budget, we have Matthew Bristow. Communications, Melissa Clark. Invocations and Memorials, Brian Talkington. Long-Range Planning, Tom Klinda. Programs, David Wagner and Lynette Potter. Singing Pledge, Chris Pankratz. Sponsorships, Ed Monette. Technology and Program Production, Regina Moon. Thank you.
Thank you to all for your service in advance. Now, your incoming president, John Raines, is, as we said before, with IMAX Corporation. John graduated from the University of Tulsa in 1986 with a bachelor's degree in Management Information Systems and has had over 30 years' experience in the IT field. He and his wife, Kathy, have 5 lovely children that we've been able to meet here, and he's a longtime resident of Sapulpa. John's a member of Life Church in Jenks. As a member of his 14-year membership with Rotary Club of Tulsa, he's a Paul Harris Fellow, an Allen Edwards Society benefactor, and a community fellow. John has been involved with Camp Enterprise for many years, having chaired the event. So it is with great honor I present to you your 2016-17 President, John Raines.
Well, what a week to quit drinking. There, Ed, that's a gimme. Drinking coffee. I'm trying to get off of coffee. So it's been a wild ride this whole 18 months coming to this point. It's been exciting, educational, inspiring, tiring, whatever else you want to put on there. So first of all, I'd really like to thank each of you for the honor and the privilege of serving as your president of Rotary Club of Tulsa. That means a lot to me. As Jeff and I discussed earlier, it is a long and rewarding journey to get to this podium. The presidential preparation is top class. It's very outstanding. I wish all of you could have that experience. And as a side note, you really can get a lot of it by going to district conferences and Rotary International. We'll talk about that in a moment. The culmination of my training was to attend the Rotary International Convention. Went to Seoul, Korea, where we met so many different yet so alike Rotarians from all over the world. There was Lars and Kenneth, as I mentioned, great, fun guys. And also got to meet, of course, the past and president nominees and this year's president, John Jern. John is a member of the Chattanooga, Tennessee Club. He is very passionate about polio eradication. His first initiative as a Rotarian was to start a polio eradication program. And he's really passionate about RI Foundation's work in its 6 areas of focus. That's providing clean water, promoting peace, fighting disease, supporting education, growing local economies, and saving mothers and children. His theme for this year is Rotary Serving Humanity, and I can't think of a better theme because that is exactly what Rotary does worldwide. One of the best takeaways for me over the past 18 months is a true appreciation of the quality of Tulsa, Oklahoma as a community and the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Though we tend to hear about the bad lists that come out for Oklahoma and the numerous negatives in the community, there are numerous positives that Tulsa has made over the past few years. There was a top 25 best cities for young professionals and college graduates to live, work, and play. Tulsa was number 16 on that list. Number 9 out of 20 on the most affordable cities in the world, or in the country to live in. And there are many, many more of these accolades. There are also, as we all know, numerous projects in the pipeline, from the Gathering Place to the downtown renovation, that are going to make the future of Tulsa even brighter. And I noticed this morning there's even water in the river. While Tulsa is experiencing positive reviews on the national scene, here we are, the 15th largest Rotary Club in the world, poised as a vibrant, relevant, and growing service organization in a vibrant, relevant, and growing community. We, through our service, are already providing clean water in Nicaragua, promoting peace through youth exchange and Shop with a Cop, fighting disease through Polio Plus giving, and supporting education at Celia Clinton through mentoring, and local high schools through Camp Enterprise. Yet we know there is much more work to do and that there are many tough issues remaining. So here we are at this intersection of great promise, great need, during a time in Tulsa of great change. Our first 100 years as a service club in Tulsa have been celebrated, and year 1 of the next 100 is in the book. For us to fully engage in this unique service crossroad, we needed focus and intentionality, and it came in the form of our strategic plan. We listened to a cross-section of diverse groups in our club and our community and identified 4 areas of focus to strengthen our vibrancy and our relevance. They were intentional inclusivity, member growth and engagement, project focus and collaboration, and sharing what we do. For each area of focus, measurable objectives were defined, and each objective, many tactics. The tactics are in yellow. When someone asks me, what is Rotary? I typically answer that it is a service organization that connects leaders who then exchange ideas or visions and then take action. We have connected and exchanged through our planning process. It is now the time to take action. There's an old Japanese saying that vision without action is a daydream, and action without vision is a nightmare. In Oklahoma, that saying is simply, all hat and no cattle. So we have the leaders, we have the vision, and we have the action steps. This year, we do. We get her done. In fact, we've already begun. We have had an active diversity and inclusion committee for over a year. We have several new committees working from membership to mentoring. We're engaging with other service organizations and nonprofits in the community, as well as other Rotary districts and Rotary International. And we are looking to identify new or strengthen existing local and international projects through these collaborations. There is much to do, but that is what we are really, really good at, getting her done. So to me, this year and several to come are full of opportunity, growth, and excitement. There will be times when it is tough, when the funding is thin and the hands are few, when tough decisions need to be made and hard things to get done. But it's during these tough times that we are often being prepared, individually or as a group, for even greater things to come. I know that has been true in my own life. My lowest point in Rotary, and that was not long ago, was followed by my greatest moment and honor, which was to be standing here in front of you as president. I had kind of lost my way. I was buried in work, raising 5 kids, doing Rotary in church, and trying to be a good husband and son. Rotary and everything else for me had become more work and less fun. Few knew, often not even myself. But there are people in this room, some with and some without knowledge, who mentored me and encouraged me and pulled me out of that place and reminded me of why we're here at Rotary, and even more so, why we're here on this earth, and that is to serve. Once I mentally went back to the heart of being a servant, I started to become whole again. I became a better employee, a better father, husband, and Rotarian, through service above myself. Like any incoming president, goals have been set for me and for the club, and they are optimistic. I know if we can get more of us engaged in district and international events, it will light a fire in our club that will not be able to be extinguished. I would love to see, for instance, 50-plus attendees at our local district conference coming up. That would be only about 25 Rotarians and their families who made a point to head to the destination of Branson, Missouri on October 21st through 23rd. This is a very unique district conference as 2 districts have merged, so it's going to be much larger. There's going to be more events, a fantastic golf course, and the featured speaker list is amazing. I would also love to see 50-plus attendees to the RI convention in Atlanta. We have no excuses. We can drive to Atlanta. I wish I could impart upon you the importance and the life-changing things that occur at a Rotary International Convention. We already have 7 registrants for Atlanta, so the Rotary Club of Tulsa party has already started at Turner Field, or did they rename it? So I cannot express how much I would love to see that happen. Also, working more deeply and collaboratively through our Community Grants Committee work. I'd like to see us add service components and go a little deeper with 1 recipient every 6 months. Put boots on the ground, give our hearts to the community with that work. In the area of membership, in all honesty, this is really priority 1. Not to increase the numbers in our club. The real issues for me are 1, to increase our capacity to serve in our community by increasing membership, and 2, this is hard to articulate, but not to deny others for the pure joy of working in a service organization that truly does make a difference. The membership committee structure has swelled from 1 committee to 8, adding targeted groups and objectives, and the number of people who have signed up for those committees has swelled to 380. Yes, you're all on the membership committee. Chuck, there's your recruits. We have many other goals this year, many other objectives, and they'll be coming out through the year, like Rotary on the Road, satellite clubs, grants with district and RI, Rotaract and Interact initiatives. One thing on my heart, too, is we do great things in the community, and we don't celebrate that so much. You know, we're kind of quiet, humble people. So I would like to have a meeting each 6 months to celebrate our work in the community. So all the grant checks would be given out in a single meeting. We would celebrate the service component of our major project in each of those meetings. On the same side, I'd love to have one Rotary International meeting next spring where we celebrate our Well to Well program and our other Rotary International initiatives. So now we've come full circle. The Rotary Club of Tulsa is a vibrant, relevant, and growing service club in a vibrant, relevant, and growing community. We are poised to embrace the challenges and opportunities that are before us. We have optimistic goals based on great leadership, vision, and a can-do culture. Yet, none of this can be fully attained until you and I get the big one right. And the big goal is to humbly serve each other and those around us above ourselves. I truly do love the Rotary Club of Tulsa. And I cherish the relationships that I have here and in the community and now internationally. And I thank you again for allowing me to serve. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary. The title of the book is The Untold History of the United States, and after this year's elections, this volume will triple, I am sure. Please take note of all of our volunteers and give them a hand as they're splashed on the screen. And remember our upcoming programs, July the 3rd, Gerard Clancy, July the 20th, Marsha McLeod and Greg Aran, July the 27th, Mark Graham. Please enjoy once again the music as we leave, preparing us for our journey to Atlanta with Songs of the South. And remember, talk to someone this week about how awesome Tulsa is and about how awesome our Rotary Club is. A bunch of good people doing great things. We're adjourned.